Meet the team that doesn't just talk about impact, they ignite it. Jim Morris and producer Rachel.
Good
Yay.
morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think maybe going forward, I'm going to start good morning with a different accent every show. How about
Jim. We'll start with the Boston accent.
Speaking of my Boston accent, what did I say to someone yesterday in a coffee meeting? I was like, I think it was something like, State Farm. And they're like, State
Farm.
They're like, Jim, what the hell's a farm? What's a farm? I was like, farm. He was like, seriously, dude? I was like, yeah, sorry. That one just came out weird.
I love the Boston accent. I think you should use it more. Would you even say good morning in like a Boston accent? In New York, you would pretty much not even say good morning.
And I remember this so clearly because, in the first corporate company I worked for, I started working for them when I was 17. And when I got to the director level, I'd be talking to finance via email and HR, and I had some of the, tons of employees, right? So there was a lot of emails going back on finances and profit and loss statements and budgets. And then with the HR department, employee terminations and warnings and performance improvement plans and stuff like that. We say morning. So that's what we say. Like I can see the emails now. It's MORNIN. There's no G. It's not morning. It's morning. And it would be like everybody would communicate that way,
I love that.
I've never seen it since doing business in Nashville.
No, you have to enunciate in Nashville, apparently.
Let's talk about some energy today. I've got something on my mind, if you don't mind me just diving in this morning.
Yeah, let's do it.
When you're in it, when you are feeling the energy drain, when it is you're just like, bleh, right, exhausted, things might not be going right. They're going wrong. I've often found myself trying to reframe the situation, and I think that's hard sometimes. But there's this one thing that I've been saying to myself that has really gotten me out of the mud and really got me to think at a higher level and to look down or look across at the situation that I'm in rather than being in it and feeling through it and getting cloudy and not figuring out a solution. And that question is what would I say to a friend who's feeling what I'm feeling right now?
Yes, that's such a good one. That is such a good reframe. I love doing that.
Because that is, okay, remove myself from it and look at it from an outside perspective. And if I love, and it's someone you got to love on them. So it can't just be like your new buddy that you met, at the ice cream shop yesterday and you had a 7-minute conversation with. Think of a friend that you love. Think of a friend that you would pour into, you would do anything for, you would be there if they called you and you're in Boston and they're in California and they said, I need you right now. Can you drive here? Like that friend. Think of what you would say to that friend. And as I reframe it and I think it through, one of the things that keeps popping up for me is would you inspire yourself? Would you inspire your friend as poorly as you're inspiring yourself? And I think whenever I find that situation to come up where it's like, no, I'm not inspiring myself, that's when I start to harness and reframe the whole situation that's depleting my energy.
Well, I also think that we say awful things to ourselves, right? Like we do. I know I do. But would I say that to a friend going through a hard time? Absolutely not. I would never. So why do we treat ourselves worse than we treat other people? Why are we so much harder on ourselves when we would give other people grace and time and kinder words? And so I love the reframe of what would I tell a friend going through the same thing? because number one, it stops the doom, like words in your head, the awful negative words that we say to ourselves, and it reframes it immediately because we are so much nicer to other people than we are to ourselves. And that
love on them.
have to stop.
And I think that's the secret sauce. When we love on someone else, we start to love on ourselves, right? And if we choose the right person and it's a close friend, then I think it just starts to reframe that emotional operating system, right? But I also think too, like we've got to feel that feeling and lean into it. I'm not necessarily the best when it comes to that.
But I also think like give yourself grace when you're in that like low vibration frequency, right? When you're all the way down here, because like fake positivity is not going to get you back up. Sometimes it's okay to like go to bed or take the nap or stay in bed, right? Like listen to your body. I think a lot of times we try to push ourselves and we're holding in the whatever it is, the sadness, the frustration, the guilt that we're feeling, and we're sucking it down instead of just allowing ourselves just to feel it and let it go. And then what would I say to a friend, right? You wake up the next day, it's a new day. What would I say to somebody else going through this? And then like honestly, if like worst comes to worst, ask ChatGPT to like pump you up because it's fascinating and the coolest thing ever. AI is like,
I got you,
like,
bro.
I will literally put all like the word vomit in of the negative stuff. Like, this is what I'm feeling right now. And it will pump you up so good. If you guys haven't tried it, like, try it. It's fascinating.
I love that. I love that. Why not utilize the tool to regain your emotional clarity, right?
And it's reframing the words for you. Right.
True.
And again, if you can't get in that space, like Jim said, which is like, what would I say to a friend? If you really cannot get yourself there, read the words from something else or like AI trying to pump you up.
What a great point. What a great point. If you ask for help, and you can ask ChatGPT in that situation, right? And I think too, like read it, that reframe, and then maybe take out your journal and write it down, right? We know scientifically, as you write and you watch yourself write and you critically think and comprehend, it starts to create new links in your brain and your neural pathway. It starts to enhance your emotion, and serotonin and these things start to release in your brain, and endorphins in some cases. And I'm doing more of that than I ever have, is writing stuff down. Even just thoughts, like I know I told you, like just I started writing some poetry. Like it's been amazing because I'm starting to link thoughts together. I'm starting to build these new pathways. And yeah, maybe the poetry sucks in that moment. Maybe it doesn't make sense. It doesn't rhyme. It might not sound great to the outsider. But for me, it's linking together things internally that can then equate to maybe something a little bit more polished, something a little bit more aligned with, you know, who I'm seeking to help and conversing and navigating life with. So very powerful.
I think that's brilliant to write it. I think for the longest time, I would start putting stuff in notes that I would want to say to myself or that I want to remember for myself. And until I bought like the notebook again, right? Like we're ADHD, we love a fresh notebook. It is like full of future possibilities. But taking the
typically
time
go in the trash when we're done with it and we never open it again.
and I saved them all. What are you talking about? But yeah, that I think number one, taking the time to just sit and be is huge. And then number two, to write with your hand and a pen on paper. It just creates a completely different atmosphere around the words and what it is that you're writing and saying to yourself. And I think that for some people that feel like they're always low vibration, you have to understand it's a trained response. You've essentially never tried to reframe. You've never tried to use positive words. And this is the reality that in the space that you feel like you live in. Like, I'm a recovering negative mind chatter person. Like, I don't know how else to put it. And when my life coach said to me, just change the way you're talking to yourself, I was like, are you crazy, lady? If I could do that, I would have done it already. But I never did. Like, I never tried. Right. And so I started, and it's a little things at a time. You just have to catch it, right? You'll start to say, like, I'm so fucking dumb. Why am I doing this? And then you can reframe that to something positive, i.e., I can do hard things. I've accomplished so many other things in my life. So if you feel that you are that person that I was, where you're just like, oh, it's not that simple, it kind of is. And until you start doing it, you'll stay on that side of, oh, I can't do it. And so I want you to bridge that gap, and I want you to start catching yourself with that negative mindset, the negative mind chatter, and start trying to reframe it. And then in like a week or two, come back and let me know how it went for you. Because you can change that. You really are in control of that.
I interviewed a friend of mine yesterday for the Impact Effect podcast, and he is full of optimism. Like I told him in the beginning, like, your smile makes me smile, right? And it just does. Like, he's got a great smile. He's always smiling. He's always happy. And he said to me, because I said, dude, what's up with this? Like, let's get real here on the podcast, right? Like, do you have to work for this? Is this natural? Like, is this spiritual? And for him, it was spiritual, right? And he brought up something out of the Bible, and he related it back to it. But he said, you know what? It's not always like that, meaning like it just doesn't come natural. He said, and this was brilliant. He said, no matter how information gets delivered to me, whether it's negative connotation, whether it's aggressive, whether it's abrupt, or if it's calm, elegant, fits the emotional intelligence level of the communication and the relationship. He said, I don't actually think about how it's being delivered. I think about where the truth lies. And for me, it just connected so many things. Like, for instance, if I did something bad in business and a client was upset with me, which happens, right? I'm not perfect, doesn't happen often. I'm grateful for that. And I think our clients and I have great relationships, hence them informing me when someone was trying to work for them and take some business from me. But knowing that those situations are going to come up, um, and someone's going to maybe yell at me or say something they didn't like, and this happens a lot with my content. Like, people will DM me and just go like, I'm an idiot, and I'm so wrong, and I should die, and like all this crazy shit. Where's the truth in that? Where's the truth in it? Remove how it was delivered to me. If there was an F-bomb or ended in "you're an idiot," or like, is there any truth in that? And can I say thank you for that? And I think that's so powerful, because I used to get all in a tizzy and upset and fired up and pissed off. But when I start to think about those things, there is usually a little bit of truth in what they're saying, right? Or if it's not validated by the situation or facts, there's still truth that something somehow made them feel like that, whether it's me or something else. There's still truth in that, right? And there's also truth in the fact that maybe it's not me, right? Maybe I did nothing, and that's okay too. So now that I've started to hear that, and I started to play through it in situations last night, I'm like, what's true? What's true? Could I have been better in this situation? Yes. And then I thought about something last night. I was like, no, that's not true. That's uncontrollable. They're incorrect, and that's okay too, right? So I just think it's a very interesting way to look at it in the midst of chaos, in the midst of someone trying to bring down your energy, conflict, anything that comes across negative to us in our conversations, in our relationships, and in our business.
Well, there's a couple of things that you hit on there. Number one, it sucks when people try to poach your clients. I hate that. That's awful. Like, oh God. That's a fun
What's
day.
helped me though through that is this show and these conversations. It pissed me off for about 48 hours. Usually that would be about 2 weeks for me. Because I go down the rabbit hole of not necessarily what the truth is, but I start to create things around it. So like, you're coming after my family. You're trying to take food off my table. Like, I've got 2 young kids. I'm building businesses. Like, this is the time not to mess with my money. I need every inch of it to invest. I'm investing in everything every day. But I'm making that up. I just created that. Like, that person's not thinking of that. I guarantee you they're not thinking that way.
1,000%. 1,000%. And then how you react is what you are in control of. So that's the other one, right? Like, you are in control how you're reacting to the situation. So if you're going to be upset, then be upset, but you don't have to be upset. And then also, how you're perceived is not in your control. So if people are DMing you and saying horrible things, that's not on you. That has nothing to do with you. That has to do everything with them and what they're going through in their lives. And then also, FYI, if you're creating content where you even get haters, then you're doing something right. Right? Like, I literally was on a post yesterday on like a podcast group on Facebook, and someone's like, nobody listens to my podcast or comments. And I was like, God, at least I get haters. Do you know what I mean? Like, that would sucks to be in that position, and I understand it, but like, at least I get people that like, even hate me. That's at least a step up to nothing at all. It means you're doing something right, in my opinion.
And the people that consume it and use it, they're not, a lot of the time, and I'm guilty of it too. Like, I'm not going on Ed Milet's show and saying, your interview with Dr. Joe Hudson changed my life, but it fucking did. So like, how can I even be mad if people aren't commenting on some of my stuff in those situations too? Because I'm doing it, right? And we're just in a distracted, crazy world where
1,000%.
it's just disconnected online.
Well, yeah, it doesn't mean
So-
your product's not good or what you're putting out isn't good. It's just like, people are, I think, are even more used to not commenting anymore. They stay hidden in the silence. Does that make sense? So you've got a lot of lurkers. Whereas before, I feel like people were more apt to comment, but now they just don't even have the energy to do that anymore. So it's like, okay, great.
It's
But
been cool though to like, for content with that, just to wrap up on that topic of, I've put out a piece of content that I thought was really good that I spent like 15 hours on, and it got nothing from that perspective. And then I had a coffee meeting the other week, and someone was like, dude, that was such a great post. Like, and blah, 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 blah. And I was telling this person and my job, and blah, blah, blah. And then, me and my wife ended up talking about it at dinner. And then there was a lesson to be learned. And, Adley, my daughter, mentioned something, and it was like, wow, look at that impact. Look at that ripple. And I'm over here thinking it was a waste of 15 hours, and just that alone was worth it for me, right? Like, you're talking to your wife about it, your coworkers, your daughter. That's huge, huge. So I think
well, yeah,
those moments of energy come in bursts, and when they're not, how do we reframe it? How do we look at it? How do we stay optimistic? And how do we keep moving through?
exactly.
What would you say to your friend?
What would you say to your friend? Be kinder to yourselves, guys. Honestly, like, you're not a piece of shit. You really are. No matter what your brain tries to say, your brain's a dick. Like, F your brain. Change the chatter, change the mind chatter. It really is that simple. What would you say to a friend? And then say that to yourself. Yay. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
See y'all.